Well, good morning to all of you. Thank you for being here. A little anecdote. One of the questions that I received the most before this show was, is there going to be a CEO panel? And so thank you, Ohio, for getting all of these folks together. So without further ado, my name is Sergio, SMG Consulting. We cover the AAM industry. With me, I have Job Ben Bivert, the CEO of Joby, Sébastien Vigneron, the CEO of Wisk, JP Nassif, the CEO of JobsOhio, Cal Clark, CEO of Beta, and Nikhil Goel is the CMO of Archer. Adam was going to be here, but he has a family emergency, so we hope everything is going to go well. So without further ado, our panel is going to be about 25, 28 minutes, so I don't want to say don't say what you want to say, but say it snappy. So let's start with the first question. So just wanted to get a little bit of a lay of the land when it comes to certification, barrier dealing with, or certification, or entry into service, your plans. Joben, would you like to get started, please?
Sure. So this is an incredible time in the industry where we now have all the pieces in place to move with increasing speed through certification. We've had the FAA deliver record progress for 2 quarters in a row on stage 4 of our certification basis, and this quarter is shaping up extremely well. They're really leaned in, and we're working very closely with them, again, making fantastic progress on stage 4 and beginning to really see acceleration on stage 5. We're very excited about the progress we're making on building RTA flight test aircraft, and very much excited to begin getting FAA flight test pilots trained up to begin flying those aircraft. So very pleased with the progress we're making, and of course this is a foundational step as we move along on our commercialization journey.
Thank you. Sébastien.
So very similarly to Joben, we're making great progress with the FAA. We are stage 2 of our G1, but we're going for autonomy. So we believe in first for autonomy because that's what's going to really unlock the full potential of AAM. The executive order that was released by the US administration is, as Joben said, it's really a great momentum, and we have all the stars that are now aligned. We have like the political support, we have the industry support, and then we have the money to make it happen. So great progress, and we are really happy with what's happening right now.
Excellent. JP, we'll come back to you, but Kyle.
Sure. Test, yeah. Our approach to certification is actually the polar opposite of yours, and it's not because we don't believe in getting to an autonomous passenger-carrying future state aircraft. We started with the propulsion. Actually, we started with propeller, propulsion, and then a conventional takeoff and landing aircraft, and then the VTOL. And each of those elements is actually incorporated into the next certification. And it allows us to actually create a product that people want at each step of the way and get to the end game, in my opinion, actually faster and more efficient than trying to do everything at once. And the airplane I was flying yesterday here is that third step of certification. That aircraft, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between that and a certified aircraft. Of course, we all know the paperwork that goes behind it creates the thing that creates artifacts for certification. But yeah, it's echoing what these guys have said. We've seen a really strong positive uptick from the administration. We had the administrator up at our place 2 Fridays ago, really solidifying the path that we're taking and the progress we're making. And you guys can expect that we will be announcing some really big milestones this year in certification. And we at Beta talk about the stuff that we've already done, and so we're gonna make those announcements as we achieve them.
Thank you, Nikhil.
Yeah, look, over the last 3 weeks, it's become abundantly clear that the U.S. has said that the DOT, the White House, the FAA, America will lead in eVTOL. And we saw the executive order 2 weeks ago. We saw yesterday the U.S. Department of Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy was here. He spent so much time with aerospace companies all across the show, but the one big announcement he made was eVTOL and U.S. leading the pathway for certification across the 5 Eyes countries. For us at Archer, the North Star has always been the 2028 Olympics, how do we get to scale in the United States by that point? So what that means is this year we're going to make significant certification progress. Next year you're going to see airplanes in the sky. And then by 2028, our goal is to be at real scale in places like Los Angeles. In parallel to that, our goal is to launch in the UAE this year. And so we're making a lot of activity towards that. I think that's going to be sort of our 4-minute mile, where you're going to see real operations in a big city in Abu Dhabi. And then that's going to set the stage for us to really make a lot of progress here in the US.
Perfect. And please come to LA. The last time I got home was
Absolutely.
2-hour drive. Not fun. JP, if you don't mind, let's switch to the government. So, what do state can do to advance? Sorry for the words, advance air mobility, and what is Ohio doing?
There's a lot of investment states can do. Ohio has been investing in aviation and aerospace since powered flight was created with the Wright brothers. John Glenn, Neil Armstrong, and our Governor Mike DeWine, and JobsOhio have been investing a significant amount to de-risk what the innovators do. The state is not necessarily going to create innovations, but we want to de-risk and invest so the innovators can get the workforce they need. They can have resources and infrastructure they need, but maybe as younger, smaller companies, they don't have the amount of capital to invest. So the state's invested in things like the National Advanced Air Mobility Center of Excellence, where we've worked closely with the FAA and local community so that companies like theirs, once they build prototypes, are able to test them with a line-of-sight waiver in the airspace. That's very important to learning how those early products work. Of course, the state needs to have outstanding business climate. Ohio does have one of the best business climates on both the corporate level and on the individual level. It's a very affordable state. And then in particular in Ohio, we have a supply chain geared toward aviation and aerospace and manufacturing of those entities. So with the big customer you heard earlier, Wright-Patterson, the knowledge of airframe investment, airworthiness, composites, mechanics, resilience and maintenance built in, all these things that these individuals here that will be essentially reinventing the next wave and phase of aviation. They have to have those resources and that capability in the workforce. And so a state can develop workforce programs that are agile, that can adapt and pivot. As, again, the innovators in this industry determine what type of capabilities and skills they need. The states want to be able to flex very quickly to provide that for them, and Ohio has programs that enable that.
Thank you. And I think, we need all hands on deck, right? We're not just launching new airplanes, we're launching a whole new way of flying. Okay, so now let's go back to talk about the airplane. So until now, AAM has been more of a concept. Our airplanes have come out of paper, of PPTs, and now they're in the air. So what do we need to scale up and make this a reality? So Nikhil, do you want to get us started, please?
One of the things that we've spent a lot of time on is the infrastructure. We've announced networks in Los Angeles, in the San Francisco Bay Area, and New York. And the approach we've taken there is, hey, how do we take advantage of existing infrastructure? So we've worked with airports, FBOs, folks like Signature and Atlantic, and then also proprietary vertiports like the exclusive deal we've got with SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. The reason we're making all of those moves so early is because ultimately we believe infrastructure will be the bottleneck to scaling. So what we're doing this year and what we're going to be doing over the next several years is making deals across the country and really around the world to build out vertiport networks, electrify those vertiports, and make sure they're ready so that when we launch, we can begin scaling effectively and rapidly.
Thank you. Kai.
Yeah, I think in the context of infrastructure, the guys up here on stage know, not a cut at Joe Ben, but I do believe the infrastructure should be totally interoperable and multimodal. Everybody should have access to it. SoFi Stadium, we'll be there. Don't worry. The exclusivity of yes, indeed. The infrastructure is an important part. But I think the customers, what we're seeing is the customers, they see it on paper, they see that the airplanes on paper have a lower fundamental cost of operation. We need to get it in their hands and allow them to fly. The executive order gives us the ability to do that. It's a big deal. We're putting aircraft into New Zealand. We've got an aircraft over here that's flying every day and then going up to Norway to do 6 months of continuous 4 or 5 flights a day trials, just really, really exposing the lower maintenance cost, the lower cost of operation. The rest of the stuff is falling into place. We know how to make airplanes. We know how to make motors. We know how to charge the things. We know how to maintain them. It's a matter of like convincing customers that this new and nascent technology can be insured, can be financed, can meet the economic goals of it. And I think that's the biggest next step.
And I remember the flight you did in New York. How much did it cost you in electricity?
Yeah, I did a flight from the Hamptons to JFK, full of people, and it was $7 of electricity. And this is like, you basically flip OPEX and CAPEX on its head for recurring cost. And it just tells you what type of customers and applications you want for these airplanes. It's not a once-a-week flyer. It's a 3, 4, 10 times a day flyer where you exploit the benefits of electric propulsion. We take a lot of spears up here. We take a lot of spears. People are like, batteries are too heavy. But the reality is there are places, if you put the airplanes in the right places, the benefits are real.
Sebastian.
No, it's very true, and actually, what the key message I want to send is like it's way more than just the plane. You guys mentioned infrastructure, but it's just way more than just that. Like what we're building is a new mode of transportation, and so it includes the infrastructure. To your point, it also includes making the airspace system way more autonomous, way more digital, and that's where Wisk is really focused on. Yes, we work on the airplane for sure, and you guys want autonomy as well. I bet you. And so, because that's what's going to really unlock the full potential of that. That's where we are focused right now, and we're working hand in hand with the FAA, with NASA, to bring autonomy, to bring more digital information into the national airspace and the ATC systems. That's really what's going to unlock everything. So the TC is important. The operational cert is also very important. That's where we are heavily focused right now.
Perfect. Joby.
Just building on the comments from Sebastian on the airspace and ATC. It was incredible being with Secretary Duffy yesterday and the lean in from the administration on building a new ATC system for the U.S. Is going to be incredible as we look to expand the capacity of the airspace and as we look to autonomy and future technology. So that's a fantastic effort. Very grateful to the administration for the lean in there. Additionally, on the executive order, we think this is a game changer for the U.S. and is going to really drive rapid adoption and ensure that the U.S. stays at the forefront of this really vital new industry. The final element you talked about was scaling. I don't think we can close without talking about manufacturing and the importance of manufacturing. We're talking about moving to a scale of aircraft production that has not been seen in about 70 years. And that is a really exciting thing, but it's bringing automotive scale manufacturing to aerospace. And we're very, very grateful to have Toyota as our largest investor, and Toyota's attention to detail, the quality, the reliability that they can build with is something that we really want to incorporate into every facet of what we do and the aircraft that we build. And as we move from where we can produce an aircraft a month today to doubling and then 10xing and 10xing again, that kind of manufacturing capacity.
Excellent. So picking up for one of the things that all of you guys mentioned, is U.S. leadership. So we're doing great work in the U.S., but the rest of the world, it's not just looking at us and doing nothing. Every other part of the world is looking at this new form of transportation. Is there a quick way into aerospace? Because we know that conventional aerospace is very complex. So to all of you guys, and Nikhil, get us started, what does the U.S. need to maintain our leadership in this new industry?
Well, I think we're in a very interesting phase of the industry where I spend a lot of my time abroad. speaking to countries, some of which we publicize, like the UAE, places like Ethiopia and India. I think what everyone's trying to figure out is how do they rapidly advance their eVTOL ecosystem? How do they make sure that they are ready for eVTOL, but also how do they stay in line with what the US is doing? I think we found a really good solution in the UAE where we're all sort of aligned on the FAA rule set. I think the next phase or the next year really started yesterday with Secretary Duffy's announcement for him to stand up here and say, hey, the US is going to take the lead, but it's not just a US industry. The biggest value we can provide is take the American talent, the American engineering, and the American companies, and then export those airplanes all across the world. And if you look at it, the largest, fastest growing cities aren't in the US, they're really in places like Southeast Asia and Africa and East Asia. And so what I'm excited about is taking the talent base that we've built here in the US and then exporting those airplanes to the largest sort of 50 cities around the world. I think yesterday was the start of that, and we're going to see more of that over the next year.
Excellent. Cut.
Yeah, I don't think this is fair. Adam sent a pinch hitter who's really good, and I got to follow him. I want a pinch hitter. I'm an engineer trying to answer these questions. But I do totally agree that leadership doesn't mean exclusivity. There's collaboration that has to happen. Aerospace has never been a domestic industry in any country. And that collaboration is not a following collaboration. So leadership, I think, might be a little bit misinterpreted here. Yes, the executive order, the lean in by the FAA. For us, we know that we want the same thing as the FAA. We want safe, reliable, and repeatably produced aircraft. The FAA right now recognizes that, and that allows us to move at pace. That's really important. But we don't have a closing business model unless we think in the dimension of the international expansion and the different applications leading up to that. So for us, cargo, medical, logistics as an entry point, moving into passenger, these regions, Scotland, up in the Nordics here, these are fit for the type of aircraft we make, and we have to think globally about it. And frankly, the U.S. will fall off its leadership if it doesn't think like that and collaborate and harmonize.
JP, what are your thoughts?
Well, we think American leadership's important. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. It's a disruptive industry, and as our supply chains are being reshored, Ohio wants to lead in the production test. There will be very natural ways that these companies, these innovators, are going to need to collaborate on advanced composites, on power and propulsion systems. And that type of work historically has been done in Ohio. It continues to be done in Ohio. We have one of the largest manufacturing workforces in the world, one of the most productive in America. We're an affordable state, and we've leaned into investment in advanced air mobility to what we call this is a super sector. It's a massive sector, and in this, like energy, artificial intelligence, America needs to lead, needs to be successful, and these vehicles will be built, tested, envisioned, and maintained right in the heart of it all in Ohio. So we just need to stay competitive in all those domains.
Thank you. Sebastian.
So yesterday's announcement by Secretary Duffy was really impactful, to your point, because it's really sending a very clear message to each and everyone that the US are going to be on the forefront. And that includes the airplane, that also includes the air traffic management system, and making the airspace, bringing more automation, bringing more digitalization into the airspace. So what we need is to bring more autonomy, more digital into the flight rules. So you've heard the terms about automated flight rules or digital flight rules. We need to keep driving that. And that's where the US can be at the forefront of all of that, because that benefits not only AAM, all of us, but it also benefits the GA, the commercial aviation. It can make current flight way more safe, more efficient, and more scalable. So it benefits each and every one of us. So I think that's what's really key for us.
Thank you. Joby, take it on for us.
Yeah, building on that, I think, as Sebastian talked about, as we bring in digitalization, as we leverage the incredible capabilities of autonomy, of electric propulsion, as Kyle talked about in the economics of electric propulsion, as we bring in the time savings that you get with vertical takeoff and landing. This is an incredibly exciting time in aviation. and the demand from cities around the world is really unprecedented. And that's why we need to lean in and really scale as rapidly as possible. And that's why states like Ohio, where Ohio has one of the deepest and highest quality employee bases, and the technical capabilities, the workforce training is just absolutely spectacular, and so we're very, very grateful to be scaling our manufacturing in partnership with JobsOhio.
Excellent. Well, I would like to thank all of you guys for taking time out of a very busy show to sit with us. And the other thing is I would like to give kudos to all of you guys, because this industry didn't even exist like 4 or 5 years ago. And now there is booth, there is airplane flying, and I can see only more of these happening. So thank God we have you guys. Thank you.